Hello friends. Today we have a review of the MOVESPEED SU10, a compact solid-state USB drive with two connectors, a built-in screen, and a claimed read speed of up to 1090 megabytes per second. I have the 256 gigabyte version, and in this video we'll take a detailed look at what it actually is like in real-world use. The main feature of this model is the screen on the. It shows temperature, capacity, percentage of free space, read and write activity, as well as the connection interface speed. Plus, there are two connectors at once, USB-A and USB-C, so the drive can be connected directly to a computer, laptop, tablet, and smartphone without adapters. Throughout the video, we'll go over the main parameters, check the package contents, take a look at the design, test it with a tablet, smartphone, and laptop via USB 2.0, 3.0, and USB-C. After that, we'll look at real usage scenarios, file writing and reading, video playback directly from the drive, and then move on to synthetic tests in CrystalDiskMark to compare the real picture with the claimed specifications. More on everything coming up next, and for now, as usual, I ask you to like this video so that more people interested in useful gadgets and tech can find it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Device type, SSD USB drive with a screen. Manufacturer, MOVESPEED. Model, SU10. Review version, 256 gigabytes. Options available from 128 gigabytes to 2 terabytes. Interfaces, USB-A and USB-C. Connection standard, USB 3.2 Gen 2, up to 10-bit/s. Claimed read speed, up to 1000 to 1090 megabytes per second. Claimed write speed, up to 600 to 1030 megabytes per second, depending on version and interface. Screen, 1.65 inches, LCD, resolution 142 by 428 pixels. What the screen shows: temperature, total capacity, drive usage, and connection interface speed. Memory, TLC, 3D NAND flash. Body material, aluminum alloy. Color, silver. Size, 82.5 by 24 by 11.7 millimeters. Weight, about 43.7 grams. Compatibility, Windows, Mac OS, Linux, Android, iPad OS, and modern iPhones with USB-C. The box comes sealed in plastic, which is a good sign because it immediately shows that no one opened it at the factory before me. The main specifications are listed on the packaging, and the store also included a separate case with the box. As I understand it, this is not part of the standard package, but an additional bonus from the seller. Inside, everything is quite simple. The drive itself sits in a plastic tray, doesn't move around inside the box, and there's an instruction manual next to it. Nothing else was found inside. As a result, we get the drive itself in a separate case for storage and transportation. That is, everything you need to get started is here. You can immediately connect and test the drive, and the case will come in handy later for everyday use. On the front side, the main thing is, of course, the screen. It occupies almost the entire central part, and along the edges there are metal covers that protect the USB-A and Type-C connectors. On the back side, there is no screen anymore, only a glossy central insert and the manufacturer's logo. Thanks to this, the design does not look overloaded, and overall the device looks quite restrained. Side view. Here you can clearly see the thickness of the body. The device is not the most compact, but that is quite logical for a model with a screen, a metal, and two connectors. When opened, the design becomes clearly visible. USB-C on one side, USB-A on the other. The idea here is practical. The drive can be directly connected to connectors of different formats. The main feature of this model is the built-in screen. After connection, it displays basic information about the drive's state, current temperature, capacity, percentage of free space, read and write speed, as well as the connection mode. In my case, you can see that the drive was detected in 480 megabit mode, meaning it is not connected to a high-speed port. And this is exactly the main point of such a screen, not just decorative animation, but a quick way to immediately understand what is happening with the device during operation. I'll start testing compatibility with different devices using the Blackview Mega 3 tablet. A link to its review will be in the description. The connection here works without any additional steps. Just plug the drive into USB-C and the tablet detects it immediately. Next, you can see how it looks in the system. On the left, a standard notification about a connected USB drive appears, and on the right, the drive is already displayed in the file manager as a separate storage device. That is, Android detects it correctly. File access is available immediately. And in this scenario, everything works as expected, without formatting, without third-party apps, and without extra settings. The next device is the Redmi Note 12 Pro smartphone. The connection also works fine. The drive is detected immediately after connecting to USB-C. The screen on the body activates, and overall, everything looks as it should in a typical mobile scenario. So the drive also works with a smartphone without any additional manipulations. Further on, from the screenshots you can see how this is implemented in the system itself. The smartphone shows a standard notification about the connected USB storage, from which you can immediately go to view the contents or safely disconnect the device. And in the file manager, the drive appears as a separate USB partition. So the logic here is completely familiar. Connect, access files, finish work, safely disconnect. Now moving on to the laptop, and here you can clearly see why this drive needs a screen at all. When connected to a regular USB 2.0 port, it immediately shows 480 megabits per second. That means even before any tests, you can understand that in such a port, the device will be limited by the interface, not by its own capabilities. Then I connect it to USB 3.0, and the screen already shows 5 gigabits per second. This is a completely different operating mode, and here the drive can perform much better. And this is exactly the practical benefit of the screen. You don't have to guess which port you're using. Everything is visible immediately on the screen. And via USB-C with USB 3.1 support, the drive is detected in 10 gigabit mode. That means here we get the maximum available connection mode in my case. In practice, this is very convenient. You plug it in and immediately see whether you are working through a slow port, a regular fast one, or a full 10 gigabit interface. And here it's not just connection, but a real write of a 7 gigabyte file. On the screen during the process, you can clearly see that the speed is not fixed, but constantly changing. On average, the write speed is slightly above 400 megabytes per second, drops to about 300 at minimum, and peaks slightly above 500 megabytes per second. So the screen is useful not only for temperature and interface, but also to see in real time at what speed the drive is operating at a given moment. During reading, the picture is also dynamic, without a single fixed value. The speed constantly changes during the process, but on average stays above 600 megabytes per second, with peaks reaching around 750. So in reading, the drive behaves noticeably more briskly, which is clearly visible on the screen. And one more practical scenario, watching a movie directly from the drive on a tablet. During playback, you can see on the screen that the temperature icon periodically switches to a disk activity icon, meaning the drive shows current activity. At the same time, the speed here is very low, rarely exceeding 1 or 2 megabytes per second, which is logical. For normal video playback, such bandwidth is more than enough. After testing in real scenarios, we can move on to synthetic tests in CrystalDiskMark and see how the drive behaves in different connection modes. First, USB 2.0. Here the results are completely expected, both at 8 and 16 gigabytes. Read speed is around 40 megabytes per second, write about 30 to 32 megabytes per second. That is, in this case, everything is limited by the port itself, not the drive. Next, testing via USB 3.0, and here the picture is quite different. Sequential read rises to about 463 to 464 megabytes per second, write up to 350 to 363 megabytes per second. Moreover, the difference between tests at 8 and 16 gigabytes is minimal, so the results are quite consistent. That means via regular USB 3.0, the drive already shows solid speed for everyday work with large files. And the last mode, USB-C with USB 3.1, where the drive almost reaches its maximum in read speed. Here we get about 1065 to 1067 megabytes per second in reading, which is practically right up to the claimed values. But the write speed in my case stays around 380 to 385 megabytes per second, which is noticeably more modest than the advertised numbers. So the main conclusion here is simple. Read performance is very good. Write performance is not record-breaking, but the results are stable at both 8 and 16 gigabytes. And to not rely only on CrystalDiskMark synthetic tests, let's also look at writing a real large file of 17.2 gigabytes. The graph shows that at the beginning the speed rises higher, then drops a bit, and then settles into a more even level. On average, the write speed is around 300 megabytes per second, without any sharp drops close to zero. That means in a real task, the drive writes noticeably slower than the attractive maximum numbers promise, but at the same time behaves quite stably and without really unpleasant drops. Overall, I like the MOVESPEED SU10. A convenient format with 2 connectors, a solid metal body, and a cool and useful screen that shows not something abstract, but real working information: temperature, capacity, free space, read and write activity, and connection interface speed. The drive works well with different devices. I tested it without any problems with a tablet, smartphone, and laptop. It's convenient that you can immediately see in which mode it connected: 480 megabits, 5 gigabits, or 10 gigabits. This is a simple detail, but in practice it is really useful because you immediately understand why you are getting a certain speed. The test results are also quite clear. Via USB 2.0, everything is limited by the port, as expected. Via USB 3.0, you already get a good working speed. Via USB-C, the drive almost reaches the claimed read values, but the write speed in my case turned out to be noticeably more modest than advertised. At the same time, in real scenarios with large files, the speed remains quite adequate and without any really unpleasant drops. Among the advantages, I would highlight the screen, 2 connectors without adapters, good compatibility with different devices, and clear monitoring of the operating mode directly on the body. Among the questionable points, the size and weight are already larger than those of typical compact drives, and in terms of write speed, my specific 256GB version does not show the numbers that might be expected after viewing the product page. That's all for now. I hope this video was useful and interesting for you. I'll be waiting for your thoughts and suggestions in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss new reviews and tutorials. In the description under the video, you will find all the necessary links to the drive itself, as well as my Telegram channels, social networks, and a group for discussing smart home topics. Thank you for your attention. See you next time. Peace to everyone.